morning. It's a cold morning in May in Holland. And I'm going to continue reading uh, the first part of the book of Traktung Rimpoche called Original Innocence. Here we go. Okay, it starts with a few quotes. This one is from a Tibetan person. And again, these letters are not very clear to read, so Longsal, I think, something like that. He says, the essence, originally pure wisdom, is free from ignorance and all thoughts. The nature, so the essence, original pure wisdom, is free from ignorance and all thoughts. The nature, spontaneously present wisdom, is empty clarity, suffused with luminosity. And the energy, a compassion display of wisdom, is unceasing magical appearance. And then from the Kunje Gyalpo Tantra, the Buddha's bodies, kayas, wisdoms, qualities as well as sentient beings, karmas, habit patterns, and all that. Every possible appearance, worlds, and beings, from the very start, these have all been great awareness. Okay. And this is from the Vajra Cutter, I think, the Vajra Cutter Tantra. Those who see me as form and hear my voice enter the path wrongly. Those who see me as form and hear my voice enter the path wrongly. All Buddhas should be seen as the nature of all phenomena, and all guides as the Dharmakaya. The nature of truth is not a knowable thing, so it is incomprehensible. And then from the greatness of space tantra, all phenomena are unborn and spontaneously perfect. When primordial freedom is realized, all motivation and activity is spontaneously accomplished, and a perfect nature appears without being created. And here's a heading that's called The Single Taste of Luminous Clarity. The single taste of luminous clarity. 2 a.m. Vomiting. Walking from bathroom to bed. I glance down, and inside my shirt, only stars and moonlight. 5 a.m. Laying on the bathroom floor, wondering if viruses are living beings. A single thought of love, and this old karmic body is filled with warmth. 7 a.m. Skin aches to the bone, remembering Milarepa's poem. It feels good, feels even better, feels so good, even feeling bad feels good. Dharma's promise never falls short. And a new saying, I think. Yeah. One of the truly great joys of having abandoned identity is the spontaneous playfulness of awareness across the sense fields. When hope and fear fall away, as they depend on identity for survival, then appearance, the perceiving of it, and the falling away of it are all known as only the three bodies of a Buddha. And one of the truly great joys of having abandoned identity is the spontaneous playfulness of awareness across the sense fields. Okay, and here is a poem from Traktung, and the name is Love. I had just written the lines. The day I met you, I realized all love poems are just different ways to spell your name. And the man beside me, glancing at these words, said, Buddhists don't write love poems. And I replied, if that were the case, then there would be no appearance. What do you think appearance is, if not a love poem written on the paper of the vast expanse, with the ink of wisdom bliss, by the hand of no thingness? Emptiness doesn't mean we are unfeeling, just unfooled. Love is not desire, not grasping, not attachment. It is sunlight, played from heart to eye, and, without implication of birth, and yet replete with qualities. The moment I met you, I knew language's secret purpose, to discover a million ways to write your name. And a new heading, and the text continues. This is called the magical child, the energy. In short, all appearances are not other than the spiritual potency of mind's great mystery, and mind itself has no basis. I read that line again. In short, all appearances are not other than the spiritual potency of mind's great mystery, and mind itself has no basis. This is because appearance is the union of the empty and luminous essence and the nature of mind. This emptiness has no basis. It is perfect mystery. The luminous aspect is spontaneous, without cause, also having no basis. What a lark! What a joy that when truth is sought with no ulterior motive other than seeking the truth, this perfect mystery is what's been discovered by men and women from myriad traditions in all times and cultures. When I was in my late teens and embarking on my spiritual journey in search of truth, my mother, who was very intelligent and well read in psychology and philosophy, asked me, what if the truth is not something you can live with, something terrible. I replied, I don't really care, because I must know. That is the attitude one must maintain on the journey, so as not to superimpose a particular result. And what a joy that of all possible outcomes, what is discovered in the depths of being human is a trifold wholeness of divinity that is realizable and livable. It is the function of the path to awaken you to the subtle wisdom understanding. But the wisdom itself has always been true from the beginning. Wisdom is to discover and then inhere in and as this truth. The spiritual longing of every human being is to realize, make real in the continuum of life, body, speech, mind, this reality. To embody and world the beauty of Buddha's nature, excuse me, to embody and world the beauty of Buddha nature's expanse and luminous clarity is the meaning urge of our lives. The essence of spiritual reality, which is also the essence of mind, is an expanse of unutterable mystery. It is perfect purity. The nature of this purity is luminosity, whose radiance is a perfect clarity. Original innocence and bright virtue are patiently waiting for us to discover and live them to the point of being translated into them, into what you have always been, but missed due to some temporary stains of vision and understanding. When Prince Siddhartha became Shakyamuni Buddha, his first words following enlightenment were, how wondrous, how marvelous. All beings have been the Buddha since the beginning. All whose minds have awakened to the marvelous illuminating nature and essence of mind's reality have experienced the same shock of wonder. They see inseparable union of original innocence and bright virtue, shining and appearing as galaxies, worlds, and beings arising from timelessness itself. Everyone sees in accord with his own eyes. Therefore, Buddhas see only Buddha. Nothing other than Buddha nature is seen by Buddhas. There is no original sin, only some seeming individual beings mistaking their true nature for something dimmer and less free. Buddhas do not see any actually existent suffering. They see no death and no birth, only the play of wisdom bliss, only original innocence. In Buddhism, there is no expulsion from the Garden of Eden. There's only distorted vision that is unable to see the way things are in truth. The blessings of Buddhas and the path of Dharma are the methods that lead to this clear seeing. Buddhas, in their uncompromising pure vision, invite us to share in their state. We're not being asked to believe unquestioned dogma or to debate interesting philosophy. Here the invitation is to the methods that make the body, the mind, and feeling into subtle tools for spiritual knowing. The path is not easy. It requires intelligence, courage, hard work, and interdependence. But if one examines one's life, it can easily be seen that suffering is also not easy. When we truly long for an end of suffering, then we have entered the path. The singleness of spiritual reality is a perfect mystery that is deep like the ocean and vast like the sky. Its openness, which is an utter mystery beyond all language, is felt and known in body and mind as original innocence and a perfect freedom of expressiveness that is bright virtue. It is the essence of everything and everyone, of you. Original innocence is not somewhere else but right here, and appearance itself is the divulgence of bright virtue. It is not someplace else waiting to be found, because then it could be lost. It is not something one needs to create, then it could and eventually would fall apart. It is the discovery of the nature of things as they are, when seen with clarity that is free from delusion. And then life becomes the act of forging body, mind, and expression into the further divulgence of this wonder. Knowing this original innocence, one instantly also comes to know the radiant, spontaneous brightness that is the basis of all appearances as well. This discovery does not make one special in any way. It doesn't give one a feeling of status, for it perceives the equality of all appearing as simply Buddha. In reality, it makes one ordinary for the first time, because it releases the clenched fist of ego's effort to be special. When original innocence and bright virtue are realized in body, life, and action, they become the emblem of wisdom and love. So then there's a few quotes again. This is from Milarepa. When the ground consciousness dissolves into Dharmakaya, then the aggregates that were born as body and mind break open like a person stepping on an egg. And Dharmakaya means your original nature. And this is from the cloud of unknowing. And if ever you come to this cloud, make a home there and take up the work of love as I urge you. There is something else you must do as this cloud is above you and between. I'm going to read this again. And if ever you come to this cloud and make a home there and take up the work of love as I urge you, there is something else you must do as this cloud is above you and between you and your God. You must put a cloud of forgetting beneath you, between you and all the creatures that have ever been made. The cloud of unknowing will perhaps leave you with a feeling that you are far from God. But I assure you, if it is authentic, Only the absence of a cloud of forgetting between you and all creatures keeps you from God. And this quote is from the third Karmapa, the next quote. The ground, the root of all samsara and nirvana, is the single great primordial indestructible bindu. And a bindu, I think, is this point here. So the ground, the root of all samsara and nirvana, is the single great primordial indestructible bindu. Since it is a ceaseless beginning, it is known as primordial. Since it is indivisible, it is known as indestructible. And the next quote is from Hildegard of Bingen. She says, love abounds in all things, excels from the depths to beyond the stars, is lovingly disposed to all things. She has given the king on high the kiss of peace. And here is, I don't know, a little bit of writing, probably from Traktung. Tonight we dance in this temple of ruin, footsteps circling like love-sick birds, the hidden companions, the seducers of twilight. Tonight we dance in the priory of new dawn, our bodies prized open by longing's revelation, like magnolia blossoms on a hot summer's eve. For there is no hiding from heartbreak, no way to outrun the messengers of sorrow. And the mind, just a tourist in this Sahaj realm, and the mind, just a tourist in this Sahaj realm, but it lives in the deep of your vast sky-hard mind. Tonight we dance in this temple of ruin. Tonight I dance in the reveries of love. Sorrows outshined in the wanting of my love. And I want the blood red of your delicate kisses. And I want the syllables that fall from your lips. And I want the thirst of a man in the desert. And I want the nakedness of your unflinching kindness. Tonight we dance in the temple of ruin, laughter mixed with the fragments of my longing. And here's a new quote. Spiritual practice is not a seeking for something new, but rather the untangling of the perceptual mechanism of our delusion, so that inherent reality can be seen as it is. Without such practice, accomplished in the meat and bone of life, no amount of chatter, Facebook quotes, or proclamations about non-duality, love, Buddha nature, or awareness brings any freedom from delusion at all. All of that is simply the defense mechanism of delusion. Hmm. New quote. Relationships with people you never meet are pretty much always the marketplace of narcissistic fantasy. The perusing of and commenting on the spiritual blatherings of the internet is the same. It does not constitute a path, nor the relationships therein a sangha. True, no? And this next quote is from Zen Master Dogen. If you are unable to find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? If you are unable to find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? From Zen Master Dogen. Okay, so far for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I love these last quotes. So I hope you have a great day. Bye.